too, I guess. I guess I'll get that too then. It's 1:30 right now. I could probably go get the part and be back by, I can be back by next Thursday, next week. You want to go get the truck and bring it in here? What else do you need?
Can I use my thing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't use this thing, but yeah, you could use the other. You have what, a couple bathrooms in here?
Grab those bags and we can back up to the truck.
Well, so are we gonna come back a different day or are we gonna call someone else out? Because that's 3 bags and just 2 guys. Today? Yo, what's up, man? Fresh, first day on the job. What's poppin'? Just passed that Bud Light Stockton.
Nice to meet you. Are those the only shoes you brought?
Yo, you like them? Y'all don't got AC?
Not out here.
That's sus, bro. What's up, baby? What's it do? Man, it's gonna be me and you out there in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Slanging and banging. You and me all day, every day. What?
Fresh air.
Bussin', bro. Man, what y'all got up in the fridge, dude? Oh, apple juice! You should get me on there, man, with a fit check. With the flat cap bill, rocking them Jordan 4s, right? With the Home Hero shirt. I've gone to shops where literally guys have pulled me aside and be like, man, I love all this stuff you're teaching, but if I do this, I'll be out till midnight. They're just gonna give me more calls. And it's heartbreaking. It's like, man, what's the real goal here? Like if I've got 12 tables in a restaurant and I can serve those 12 people and give them the best experience ever and I can be profitable. If I wanna make more money, I'm gonna add a 13th table. I'm not gonna add a 13th customer. Meaning I'm gonna increase my capacity. I'm not just gonna shove more people into my capacity. My room fits 56 people and I wanna sell more tickets to my event. I either have to increase the capacity or hold separate events. I can't put 115 people into a room of 57 people.
They want a tankless and a softener installed. They don't have either, and they've already been approved for financing.
What's that got to do? So you want me to go out there and do that call?
Well, they also say they've been having trouble with their sewer line and been wanting to replace it for a while, but they can't find somebody who they like to do it, but they think they trust us.
I don't want to have to work super hard to get it though. You want me to repipe the house, put it in a new tankless, softener. You say something about a sewer line?
That's what it looks like. I think we should go check it out, man.
No, bro, this is ridiculous. And is this commission?
Yeah, I already talked to the owner about it. He wants to actually double your commission on it because it's such a big job.
So you want me to go out there, you want me to run this call, it's a bunch of work and a bunch of money or whatever, but it's also a bunch of taxes, and you're gonna have people out there helping me, watch me, do what I do, and then you want me to get it done faster so I make even more money, and then I have to, take another call because now I'm done by Thursday or something?
What else are you gonna be doing instead here, Steve? This is the job, man.
You got any odor smells or anything like that on there? Like maybe like in a different, maybe just... Why does on-call suck? Well, look, here's the thing. Most companies that do on-call 24/7 after hours, they don't treat it the same way they do during normal hours. They have a full staff and they have a full support system if someone calls between 8 and 5. But then after hours, they don't have a CSR, they don't have a supply staff, they don't have a lot of other things, and they want to go out and charge the same rates to the customer, if not even more, because they're doing after hours work. If you want to charge more and do on-call, then provide more service after hours. If you can't provide at least the same service that you provide during the day after hours, then you shouldn't do it. Think of it like an emergency room. Not every doctor is open after hours, but emergency rooms have a full staff after hours. Be an emergency room or be a doctor. But you gotta pick one and make sure that whatever you pick, you can service to the full. When there's no plumbers to hire, there's still a lot of plumbers that don't work for you working in your city. You're just not known enough. And so everybody tries to be just known enough because you don't want to overspend your marketing. And he goes, well, what do you do with all the money you spend on leads that you can't get to? And I'm like, well, what do you do with all the money you don't make when you're slow? See how this goes both ways? So I would rather spend a couple extra thousand every month and waste it and be known and have leads and momentum and be moving forward and I can hire into than to have that day, just one day when I'm slow. Be a couple grand in revenue off of one truck that we don't get.
It's that time again!
You've now entered the No Sale Zone. No Sale Zone. With Chris Fresh.
the plumbing sales coach.
Peels back the curtain of what sales really is. Buckle up, and get ready to learn how to increase ticket average by providing better service. And now, your host,
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
CF.
The plumbing sales coach.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Fresh Approach. I'm on the road, but I'm CF, the plumbing sales coach. I'm your host tonight, and I've got someone with me by the name of John Peavy. Now, you're going to want to hear from him and his wife, Lacey. She's coming back right now. We are at their shop. I am on a shop visit in South Carolina. What's up, John? You're going to want to grab that mic. You want to grab that mic? What's up, John? Tell everybody what's up.
What's up?
John, how long you been in the plumbing industry, sir?
About 12 years.
12 years, and you have a long extended history of owning and working with different companies. One of those companies was Roto-Rooter Corporate. You also worked with Nexstar, and I don't say that name on here very often, but you worked with them and did some training. This is Lacey. She was putting up Nix, I think.
Yeah.
Nix is the long-haired German Shepherd that was going to be joining us occasionally on the show. But what's up? Where are you guys at? Where are you from? What's up, brother? Anytime Plumbing in the house. Hey, John, how's it going? That is Tim Sanchez saying what's up to you guys.
Hi.
Fayetteville, North Carolina in the house. I'm in South Carolina, bro. It's like we're like in the same place, but the opposite. Let's see. Ready to hear how Wico is rocking it, Larry says. Yeah, they got an amazing story. An amazing story, honestly. 50K a week, about 7 months ago.
Yeah.
And now you're crushing 120, 113, 118. What's your biggest week?
120. Our biggest week was 172. It was just 2 weeks ago.
172 2 weeks ago. 50K a week to 172. That's crazy. Crazy. You didn't raise your prices.
No,
You may have lowered them.
Yeah.
You may have. I forget that sometimes. I help people lower prices. I help you make more money by lowering your prices. It's a wild concept. I don't always lower your price, but we do get it within margin. What's up, Fresh? Wico in the house. Robert Avila says, what's up? Aqua Flush Plumbing out of Richmond, Virginia says, what up? All right. We got some people jumping on. Tell us where you're at. Tell us where you're from. Man, I just had to scroll up a little bit. You see how they do in Texas? You see all these other people? It's Richmond, VA. It's San Diego. S is capitalized. D is capitalized. Not in Texas, bro. Everything is. Let's go from Fort Worth, Texas in the house. He says all caps. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Where are you at tonight? Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada joining us. What's up, Canada? Welcome to the show. Good evening, Tamara. Good evening back to you. He hooked us up with a great answering service. Grateful.
ASMC.
Y'all are good people.
Absolutely.
ASMC. All right, ASMC. If you're listening, we need to be. I'm just joking. Hey, Lacey, love those earrings. She's got the toilet paper earrings on, and you would think she probably went and got those to wear those for the show. No, these are her earrings. These are her regular earrings. Roto-Rooter from PA. Jason Fox in the house. Eek locked in. Ashley Heilman says she's excited. College Station, Texas. Let's see. The whole thing capitalized. I don't even think Isaac. Welcome to the show. I don't know if you've been on the show before. I don't remember seeing your name before, but you followed suit. All caps, Texas. Chesterfield, VA. Kyle Snyder. That's what I see. This is my perspective. Every night when I'm doing the show, I just see comment, all caps. I'm like, well, that's Texas. What's up? Where's YouTube at tonight? We got YouTube. Anyone on YouTube on here? Facebook's locked in. Mississippi in the house. Justin Duncan. She says, way to go, guys. Yeah, big numbers. 50K to 120 on average. Having a top out week of 176. How many technicians? How many service plumbers?
We have 10.
They had to think about that.
I was waiting. I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
They have 10. 10 and did 156K. That's wild.
It is insane.
All right, we're going to talk about how to do that tonight. We're going to talk specifically because one of the things that I've learned coaching companies is that when you meet people and they want to achieve great things, typically the roadblock is mindset. It's always a mindset shift of some kind. We've got to change something. We've got to do something different to get something different. I think we've all heard that statement before, but it's really true in business. And we have to have the mindset of a champion. That's tonight's topic, mindset of a champion. You guys know some champions,
Couple,
some
two,
local.
three.
We're in South Carolina. Who's a big name down here that you guys know?
Dawn Staley's our girl.
Dawn Staley's your girl. You guys know her. You do work for her and her team, and
Yeah.
or probably for maybe not. The team lives on campus probably, but
I should have
for
brought
the
the
staff.
ball. The ball says
Oh yeah.
JP, my plumber, on
My
it.
JP, my
My
plumber,
guy, I think.
Yeah.
my guy. That's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, they're awesome. The team, like just the atmosphere in the area.
Yeah, and that's a big deal down here, right? It's a part of your community.
Oh,
It's what you.
that's huge. Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, like Gamecocks all day, right?
Oh yeah.
Like what South Carolina? When I was growing up in California, I used to always get confused when I saw USC was playing. I was like, nice, and then it was like some wrong colors, and it was
Yeah.
South Carolina, and I was like, wait, I'm from Southern California. I thought it was the
The
Trojans,
real USC.
the real USC. Okay, all right, I see what's going on. In fact, speaking of champions, now I got to sit on the plane on my way down here for the shop visit. I flew from Indianapolis to New York, and then from New York to here. And in New York, a girl gets on the plane and she sits right next to me, and it is Raven Jackson. Is it Raven Johnson?
Johnson.
Raven Johnson.
Mhm.
She's the number 10 pick in the draft. The only reason why I even asked her, even found out, was because I was like, hey, you got a Fever hat on, Indianapolis Fever. I was like, are you a fan? And she just looks at me and she goes, I just got drafted to him. And she was so humble. And I was like, you want to say that one more time? Just run that. You want to run that by
Why
me
are
one
you
more time?
sitting here?
Well, yeah. Are you supposed to be on a private plane? All right. Loving the new space. Shauna says, well, Shauna, I am on a shop visit. So I'm at Rico Rooter. We're in the Rico Rooter training room. We're in the place where all the magic happens. In fact, it's like a club up in here in the morning.
It really is.
I come walking in and I'm just like, I'm like, whoa, Then they can't get me out of the shop because I just want to dance. I mean, you're doing dance offs and stuff. I brought a second day I came in, I brought a cardboard box. We waxed it up. I did some break dancing. Who do you work for? They own it. They're the owners. Oh, no, he's asking someone else. Sorry. I was like, they're the owners. They don't work for anyone. Josh says, good afternoon. Kalamazoo, Michigan in the house. Brian, good to see you again. All right, Thurgood Plumbing has arrived. Fresh Force. Who is the Fresh Force? You are the Fresh Force. We are the Fresh Force. We are people who are about service, serving our community, and giving our customers a better experience. And you guys are doing that. I got a chance to run a call the first day I was here, and it just so happened that it was someone that knew you both from years ago. They were everyone loves you guys. They were huge fans. She was like, "Oh, they're so amazing. They're so awesome." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, what about me? You think I'm cool?" No, I'm joking. But yeah, so great group of people working here. I really do enjoy your team. I think everybody is committed to you guys. They're committed to their own desire to do well for the community and do well for the other people. You guys are very team oriented. You got a good culture. You got a great group, and you have a great leadership team. Man, I told you that earlier, but I'm telling you all, they have a great leadership team. So let's talk about what it is to have this mindset of a champion. All right, as we approach 250 live viewers, let me just say we are with John and Lacey Peavy, Rico Rooter. They own it. They are killing it. They went from 50K to 120K on average in just 7 months. And you just said 2 weeks ago you had your biggest week, which was 170.
172. Yeah.
172. All right. How did we do it? The can-do crew, they say, Kyle Snyder says. All right. First point we want to make tonight. And, the topic tonight is mindset of a champion, right? What does it take to be successful? What does it take to win? I wanted to take this off just the owners. Like I wanted people to see this for its entirety. And the first point that we're going to make tonight is to always be learning.
Mhm.
We say always be serving, but we need to always be learning. And one of the things I love about you two is that you're very passionate, both of you. You have different views on things, but you're willing to be open-minded. You're willing to learn. One of the greats in basketball, we talk about him a lot on here. He has Mamba mentality, right? Kobe Bryant. In fact, we'll show you guys in case you don't know who he is. This is my dude. This is my boy. There he is. What? And then there's one that's greater. We'll give it to him. Old Michael Jordan. That's right. And these guys have a mindset of a champion. And there's always this great debate of who the GOAT is. And you hear players say it, and coaches say it, and the fans say it. And then there's this one other guy. All right. So we're not him. Michael Sons, what's up? Good to see you guys on here. Lucas Cena, killer. Lucas Cena did 1.2 million out of his truck, a plumber in the program. Just killed it.
Wow.
Dude's a beast. He's a beast. One of the greatest I've ever seen. All right, let's get into this mindset shift of always be learning. Why are you guys so willing to learn? Why are you guys so, even though you've had success, you've been successful, what's the secret?
Well, I think like you don't, plumbing it moves so fast. It's always evolving. There's always something new, and it's not better because it has the name new on it. It's not like, like the bottled detergent. It's like, oh, it's new because it's in a different package. It's new because like they found the fail point, and then they've done research and they've attempted to fix it. Most times they do, but that's why you're constantly learning something new. There's something that's probably going to be better for your customer. Maybe it gets to the point a little bit faster, and maybe the equipment's not as expensive, so it makes it better for the consumer. It's everything is consumer based.
Yeah, it didn't used to be like that.
No, it used to be company based, and how much money can we help the company make? And it was kind of almost like the same mentality, not to get all like lost in the weeds of like, oh, well, we have this new drug from Pfizer and it's more expensive and oopsies, but now it's
oopsies.
Now it's like they make it, but it drove all of us out of the business, right? It, like you can't afford the equipment because and then your customer can't afford your solution. But then they were like, oh, well, like it wasn't that hard. It didn't have to be that hard.
Yeah. I think a lot of times it's people get lost in, well, we've always done it that way.
Mm-hmm.
You ever meet someone that's like, well, I've always done it this way.
100%. It's
Oh gosh, yeah.
every technician we onboard.
Anybody with more than 3 years of experience, that's
Yeah,
actual real experience.
Whenever I work with shops, I always know, I walk in and I see like, 10, 15 people, and there's this one guy who's been doing it for 47
They're
years.
saying I like this.
Yeah, they are. They're like, who is this guy?
Well,
Well, that's actually a good point, because you have a guy that's kind of, your dude, your guy, right? Your go-to. And he's in management here. He's being shifted around a little bit, but he's in management here, and he's your bailout. Like he goes out, he gets things unstuck, he gets customers happy. He does the more complicated stuff. He helps guys do the more complicated jobs. But he was like to Chris Fresh and the whole program at first.
He hated it at first. He was so against it. It was why do we have to bring something like this in? Why do we have to do something like this? And the goal that I had was, we actually talked about this today, is we're trying to get him to get his life back. Like, we originally did it, and Lacey and I, we've been able to free up a lot to focus on the company. But being able to have, we call him the hen slayer. He slays the game. So Brian, if you're listening, boy, what's up? What's up?
What up, Brian?
But I think, honestly, to go back to what you said at the very beginning, I think that probably mostly, and I mean, you'd have to ask him his opinion of it, but I think my opinion of why he fought it so hard was because he was just, a very big, like, Weco, we're Team Weco. We got this, and he's just like hype, like, oh,
and he's
yeah.
a killer too.
Yeah.
I mean, just
dude.
so everyone understands, like, there's not false confidence here. This guy is a beast. And
And very, very, very knowledgeable, very great, super, super high level diagnosis, very good, very thorough. The scope is correct. You don't have to go back. Like if you see him out there, I'm not like, oh, I don't know. Is the scope
in fact, the
correct?
scope is so correct. Other plumbers are like, how do we do that?
Right. They're like, well, I never
really
caught
is,
that. Like how did you get to there? But, I think a lot of why he questioned the program was because he's like, well, we're perfect. We're fine. And I'm like, I love the confidence, but everybody can learn, everybody can change and be better.
That's such a good point, really, a shift in the mindset, because it's like Kobe Bryant was the best. Like when he was in the game, some will say, Jordan was better or whatever. Okay, that's fine. But when Kobe was in his prime, there was nobody better. And yet he would still go learn, still go get better, still try to every year try to improve his game. And so the best don't stay the best by staying the same. The best stay the best by staying ahead of everyone else. And that's what learning does when you constantly are willing to be open and learn. I love that about that. John, how about you? What's your biggest thing with always wanting to learn?
So the thing with wanting to learn is you got to evolve. I mean, if you're not, I mean, you got to be obsessed with it, right? You got to want to do something better. You got to want to learn. So that's just, it's DNA for me.
I'm doing the math on your growth. It's a 300% increase in just a short amount of time. If we take the biggest number, it's a 300% interest. If we take your average, it's like a 250% growth. And for a company that's already, you got a guy on your team, your top guy, and he's like, we're already good. We're already great. This just shows you how much greater you can be. And sometimes it's not about changing the player. Sometimes it's just about changing the play.
That's 100% correct.
Yeah, and I think sometimes if you run the right play, it allows people to thrive. It allows people to become and more and better. And that's what you guys are. That's what your team is doing. Just great people. I'm
And
saying
we were able to also show him another mental shift that helped, and I think it helps. I brings up because I think it would help with a lot of people across the board. Is his numbers were already solid. He was already good at all, diagnosing, but also then being able to secure his own call, because obviously that was how, he's at a truck by himself, he's doing it by himself. But what we tried to maybe open his mind to is, okay, if we get everybody to where like it's an even playing field, then it takes burden off your back some, because it's like more guys can do what you're doing.
yeah. Just real quick, what would a week look like for Brian in the truck? What kind of revenue would he do back in the day?
So Brian, when you were saying earlier how I worked with Nexstar, so I created with a couple other people.
Cut that out. I'm just playing.
Sewer sales system. Brian would have one install crew himself, and then he would run specific calls. So he ran those calls. He would do some of them, and he would have a crew to keep busy. And he did right at like 2.5, let's say 2.2
Monetarily, roughly the same, but it just was,
for the year.
yeah, it wasn't as steady.
That's beast. That's beast mode right there. So this guy he's not wrong. Like he's like, I can do this. But
Yeah.
your point is like, yeah, but not everyone has that
Not
natural
everyone.
gift, that
He
natural
was
skill
also
set.
killing himself, literally doing
Yeah,
it.
he was. And, very little time off. He's always the first guy to raise his hand for on call, or even if he wasn't the guy on the shift, if something came in, like, hey, the guy who's on call can't run this call. Like, well, let's be honest with each other. Like, he's not going to do it. You're going to have to go back and fix it. Like, why don't you just run do it anyway? So there was a lot of that, that happening. And, and like I was saying before, like taking the burden off. Okay, let's get everybody up to where they can, because you either have like a great talker or a great doer. And, he was kind of like a hybrid. He could do both. He, spent a lot of time introspectively working on himself. But I was like, that's not the norm in the plumbing industry. You have guys that can do, or you have guys that can talk, and not typically both. And I said, well, we need to get the whole team there, and it takes burden off your back some.
We got to get the whole team there. And I will tell you all this. One of the things I love about what we get to do is help them get their whole team there, but it's not through sales training. The world sees it as sales training. So we call ourselves the plumbing sales coach, but what we're really teaching is how to diagnose deeper, how to diagnose more thoroughly. We don't do whole house checklists. I hate those. I just think they're so disingenuous.
Yeah, we just stopped using ours.
You were doing them before,
Yeah,
right?
oh yeah.
Yeah, and they're just so disingenuous. And I just really like this idea of going in and following the plumbing, letting the plumbing lead me to if there's other things, and allowing that customer to join me in that journey, because now they're selling. The homeowner, they're selling. They're the ones, but I'm equipping them to
Knowledge.
purchase. Yeah, I'm equipping them so they can know about things. And I mean, I've only been on 3 calls here so far. We did I think the first call was a big one. It was a lift station pump. They had gone bad, but I found a water heater from 1999. And most of the time on a lift station call, you're not going to be looking at a water heater or anything else. But I'm doing my due diligence to figure out where this water's coming from, and we come across things as we're looking and checking. And I didn't necessarily bring it up right away, but later on, once we knew what was going on with the pump and we knew the situation we're in, I just mentioned to her, like, hey, you have an old water heater. I would put that on your radar. That's the next big thing to go. So I'm going to get you a model number and a price for the future. Then you already know. It was that simple. And then a little bit later, when we offered up options, we just said, what if we give you a deal? What if we bundle this together? And so then she was like, yeah, let's do that. And she went with the third option. It ended up being a big ticket. The call I went on this morning was a shower valve leak. The guy needs a repipe, but he's not in that situation. So we just did the valve. The next call I went on was really basic. It's a 4-way little crossover tee. The guy had a crack in the PVC. It might have been PVC. It was on a well, and just a minor leak. Did that. Say, hey, look, it's pretty basic. You got anything else at all that's going on? Because we just knock it out while we're here. And he said, actually, and normally I don't lean on that question, but I was about half a mile away from the house at this well. We weren't looking at anything else. And I said, look, it's a little bit cheaper to do things at once. He goes, well, now that you mention it, I've got a drip on my shower. I said, well, let's go take a peek at it. And it ends up being a Kohler valve, something basic. give him a deal to do them both at the same time. And he decides to go that route. And we see that a lot of times. We don't have to be good salesmen. We just have to really be good diagnosers. I want to point out one thing really quick. Fresh is like, nah, really cut that out. Vince said he's talking about next something. We're not going to say their name. He's already said it twice. The other thing was the Can Do crew. Kyle Snyder, owner. I'm the owner of the company. That was actually, I thought he was calling you guys the Can Do crew. You are the Can Do crew, but his company name is the Can Do crew. What's up and welcome to the show. Okay, look, I love their mindset. I love that they're constantly focused on learning, but that's not all. So we got mind shift number 2 for you guys. Let's pop it up on the screen. This is a big one. This is the one you guys don't want to do. Do the hard things. You said to me in your office upstairs, we had a, there are hard things, folks. I can promise you this. I'm not going to come into your company and tell you to keep doing what you've been doing. I'm not going to come into your company and go, if you're comfortable with it, you should do this. I'm going to tell you what it is, and then you can just do what you want to do. And we had a leadership meeting with your whole team this evening or this afternoon, turned into this evening. And you looked at me and you go, man, this is hard.
It's hard. It's all hard. Everything's hard. It's hard. Yeah.
And what's the saying? If it was easy,
everyone would do it.
Yeah. What's the hardest thing? I'll let you both go on this one. What's the hardest thing let's start with what's the hardest thing you've had to do in business? Forget about the program and all that. Just in life as an owner.
The hardest thing to do in business is to trust.
Ooh, to trust.
Yeah.
To allow people to have your name and to take it out into the community and not trust. How about you? It's not depositing checks because I heard you printed one off the printer and mobile deposited a huge check.
So good.
She's crazy.
I think it's when you have to trust people because you have to invest in people, because if you don't invest in people, then you're not going anywhere, because we can't do it just by ourselves. You're only going to do so much like that. And investing in people and building that up, and then that feeling of like when they're like, you're proud of them, but when they turn, they're like, oh, I'm gonna go do my own thing, and I'm like, oh no, that's no, danger.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. No, because you feel like like a parent, like watching your kid crawl, you're like, oh no, it looks nicer than it is. Like there's mean people out there in the world, and you're walking over glass, and the floor is lava. Like no,
and the floor is lava.
No, stop.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. You have your life now. Just keep your life how it is.
He says, I work alone, hard to trust. Yeah, it is hard to trust. It is hard to trust. But look, it's really hard to trust. Think about it when you're in the home. You're trying to earn this trust. You're trying to gain this trust. But on the flip side of that, the customer has a mindset as well. Like they have a perception as well. And so does the employee. So while as an owner, it's hard to trust, it's also hard to trust as an employee. How many of you have, been promised the farm and it didn't work out? Carmen says trust is earned, not given. 100%. Absolutely. My buddy Casper says, in fact, Carmen, I think you're a client of Casper's. He says, you guys know Casper. Yeah. He says, trust is the hardest commodity on earth to gain and the easiest one to lose.
Yeah. That's what we tell the guys, because like perception is reality, and it's owned by the perceiver. And then when it is also perceived, there's nothing you can do to change it.
Wait, say that again. That was so good.
I don't know if I can.
You said it was owned by the perceiver.
Yeah. So perception is perception is reality. It is the actual reality.
And it's
of
owned.
the perceiver.
Bang.
And then it's the reality. So, but then once it's perceived, you can't change how they feel. Most likely. Like once it's set, that's
you
it.
have
It's
to
locked.
you have to find a way to change their perception before it's locked.
Right.
Or it becomes your reality.
Right. And then if you try to backpedal, then you just seem like if their perception is that you're untrustworthy, then if you're trying to backpedal and regain their trust by something other than an action, you just seem, it seems weird.
Yeah, it seems false. It seems like
False.
you're just trying to be a chameleon or fit the narrative or whatever. Gusto says trust but confirm. I've heard it trust but verify. I love it. So true. Manny in the house. What's up, brother? Manny Corina, Justin Michael. So many of you hopping on. Dustin, how good to see you. Larry says, I had to trust the system so much I had to let go of someone I thought I could never could. And it was the beginning of culture change. Yeah, I mean, this happens. I think, there's people out there in the world that have left a relationship, left a job. They thought about it for a long time. They feared it for a long time. And then when they leave, they're like, it's instantly better. And I think as owners, the same thing happens. We try to hold on to someone, and then they leave, and we're like, oh, it was worse than I thought.
Yeah.
I always tell owners, whatever you know, that's 20% of what's actually going on.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
There's so
Yeah,
much more going on that you'll never even know about.
Mhm.
Okay, so trust is hard.
Yep.
Okay, now in our program specifically, what I teach, what's the hardest thing that I've asked you to do?
Work less.
Work less.
I mean, as an owner, we were talking about it earlier today, and I don't remember the exact words you used, but basically what you were talking about was, or maybe it was yesterday, I don't know. It all runs together. Is the as an owner, work, like what we feel like looks like work is different than what it actually is, and it's like the activity.
The activities of an owner.
We're supposed to work looks like going out with my wrench or my shovel or what are my work tools. But as an owner, your work tools a lot of times are your mind and how you're giving a message out, and that doesn't look like work. But then you're like, man, that was work. It was exhausting.
It is work. Motivating, encouraging.
Yes,
pouring
teaching,
into investing.
Yes.
Marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. I think a lot of people are plumbers. They become an owner, and then they think the business they own is a plumbing company.
So
no, you own a media company that does plumbing.
Right.
And so your team does the plumbing and you do the media. And I just think a lot of people miss that. And I think it's really important not to know the business you're in. You got to know because then you don't know what the activities are.
Correct.
So you go out and plumb, you're not moving the company further. You're just getting work done. And that's a big deal. How about, so work less. I have a feeling your answer is going to be right in line with that, but it's going to be a different topic. Work less. What would you say yours is?
I was going to go along that line. It's really tough because you have to, not only are you trusting the process, but trusting the process entirely is extremely difficult. There's a safety net.
There would be a lot less turnover in the industry if the guys actually saw their family.
I would agree.
Yeah.
And I think wives, rightfully so, are saying, come home.
Mm-hmm.
I need you here. And I think so much of that is lost. We wear these guys out. Like we just run them to death. And when we realize what's happening is we're just exchanging dollars. We're not adding. Everyone thinks they're adding
We
dollars.
learned this today.
But yeah, you're just exchanging dollars. So it's like, okay, well, great. Now you ran a call at 8 p.m. Now you're going to go out there tomorrow and do the call from 8 to noon. That's just another call that you could have took from 8 to noon, but instead you're doing the call from, and we do this swap thing. And I get killed on the internet for saying no on call. No on call. But that's okay. You don't know what you don't know. And I've studied the numbers. I've literally studied the numbers. I've studied the effect on life. I've studied the effect on culture. I've studied the effect on just overall retention and the cost of turning people over and the cost of bad culture and the cost of people being upset and grumpy is so much worse than any gain you could get from a few more dollars a night.
But I think also goes hand in hand kind of with the trade. I mean, I haven't studied other trades. I know plumbing, that's what I know. So I can speak to that. But I think that the generation that we have in plumbing currently, like we grew up, like we're all people pleasers. So whereas they might not mind, they're like, yeah, I want to run that call because I want to be able to, pay for this for my family or buy that for myself or do whatever, save for the future, whatever, because they equate the time to the goal that they're working towards. And they don't always think about like, oh, my goal needs to be getting home to my family to pour into my family and to spend time with them. And that should be, because it's not that they're upset about being there. They're like, yeah, I volunteered for that call. I'm like, I didn't make you go to that call. Like, I get that, your spouse and significant others, rightfully so, aggravated, but you volunteered to go to that call. We could have done that tomorrow.
So for me, when the on-call, which was really tough because we come from a company we lived and breathed the on-call like that. We had Saturday, Sunday. The office was open Saturday all day. It was a normal day.
After hours.
After hours, we
on the
did it all.
weekdays.
What you've taught me through the trusting the process is the effectiveness. Like that guy and your team, the whole team, you just get wore out. You get burnt out.
Get wore out.
As an entire, like that's what happens. So now by not, and we didn't just like stop it. I fought you for a hot minute, but the more we stop working, the more effective we are, the more concentrated we are of what we're actually doing. And we do what we do way better.
And listen to what we're talking about. So the hardest things I've asked them to do is work less and not do on-call. And they're having banner months, banner weeks. They're selling and doing and plumbing more.
But it's hard.
It is hard.
It's hard.
Well, it's hard because you feel guilty. You
Talk about that a little bit.
So you feel guilty because, as an owner, you feel like if you're not going to the call, they called in. There's there's enough plumbing companies to spread the calls across. Okay, cool. Somebody will go. It may or may not be a great experience. I can't control that experience. All I can do is control the experience they had with us. And if I can't provide, there are certain calls we can't do well. And I explain that when people call in, because, sometimes they'll be like, okay, I need to call and explain why we can't come out there tonight or this weekend. I'm not doing you any justice. I can do this effectively. I don't have half of what I need. All I'm going to do is make you go backwards. I'm going to shut your water off. I'm not going to be able to restore it.
What would you call it?
Please listen to
Something
her.
about fix.
Broke fix.
Oh, broke fix.
Yeah. And
Please listen to her
that's
right
one
now.
of the things we talk about so much. And so okay, one of the biggest calls you're going to get on an after hours or weekend or whatever non-office time is going to be your water heater, your well. Okay. Unless you have a very, very, very good process for keeping every single fitting in transition and, going from this material to that material and
Well, plus the guy. You got to have a well guy. Not all guys are
I was
well
talking
guys.
about water
Just to
heater,
be clear, too, for those listening, you are at what level licensed? You personally?
master plumber.
You're a master plumber.
She's an unlimited master plumber.
Unlimited
Yeah,
master
like
plumber.
PB5.
Yeah, I'm a
So-
journeyman plumber. I got my
So you're a
mechanical
journeyman.
contractor. She trumps me.
So just so you're all listening, this isn't someone who's just like, oh, well, she's in office. She is a master licensed plumber.
And septic installer.
And I was trying to drip it on him. I didn't want to
Oh, yeah,
overwhelm
no.
everybody with how
She trumps
awesome she
me.
is.
She trumps me.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, so you're meeting the greatest person on earth right now.
I'll put you in touch with the president of the Lacey.
President of the Lacey fan club.
Where is Mac?
Yeah, baby Mac. But my point is, unless you have, perfected, and I'm not saying some people don't have a great process for it, but my greatest solution is, okay, cool. Somebody had a leak in their tanked water heater that was located in their attic. That naturally, all those plumbers, if you're repairing that, I don't want to talk to you. The solution in my mind is we're automatically going to tankless. Like, we will figure this out, like one way or the other. There's synchrony, there's all the things, right? But most plumbing warehouses do not have every single thing. Okay, like you're transitioning, like how are you getting from point A to point B? Do you have every single thing you need to do to be able to give them hot water tonight?
If you start a tankless job and it's dark out, just stop.
Just stop. So that's my
We
point.
used to do that.
But we used to do that.
I believe it.
But
I
my
believe
point
it.
is that, you're probably still not going to have them up and running. So why is your guy out there stumbling around in the bushes, keeping half the family up?
And there's processes that you taught us a lot.
There are
of
processes. Everyone, when I'm on the internet, no one wants to hear about my information and processes. But I'm like, no on call. And they're like, you have no
I
idea
know,
what you're
that
talking
guy's gonna
about.
come
And I'm
after
like,
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
'cause I'm saying don't do
Actually,
it.
the customers are like, "You're gonna do what?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're gonna do this. We can't come tonight, but we're gonna do this for you. We'll be there at whatever time."
There's
And
ways
they're
around it.
like, "Oh my god, thank you. I didn't want to wait up." Or-
because they just want mental resolution. They don't
Yeah.
necessarily. That's the thing I finally learned. And I look, if you're commercial, you got to do service. You got to do nighttime service because you committed to these restaurants, and I get all that. Okay, but we're talking about residential homes, first world problems here, and
It's situational awareness.
it is because they're going to pay $250 for someone to come and do an emergency call. You can go get a really nice hotel room for $250
and that's literally what we do.
and treat
Yeah.
it like a vacation with your
And
kids.
sit there with the hot water on until they don't have, like, you're wrinkly, you're pruny.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's so crazy what we'll do. And no one is looking for a thorough diagnostic at 2 a.m. They're just looking for a quick
They're
fix.
not even listening to you. They couldn't repeat it back to you in the morning if they tried.
So you told us to do that, and what we did was we went down the street to the Hilton Garden Inn right here at the down by our street. We said, hey, this is what we want to do. We want to just set up something so if we have customers with emergencies, instead of us having to have a tech and ruin like their night or something, we're just going to offer them to come stay down here for a discounted stay kind of thing. And we ended up getting like a really amazing client by doing that. Like
You can
it's a
and
win-win.
look,
win.
I'm watching all these people say, but I'm worried my customer will, my somebody else will get the call or whatever. Let me just think about it like this. When I came into town Sunday night after hanging out with Raven, we're hanging out. She's just on the plane with me. I was hanging out. She was trying to sleep. All right. So I get into town and there's nothing open. I think I landed at like 9:45 by the time I get my rental car, get to my hotel. And there's, I don't know if you've ever been to the South, but they got this little restaurant. It's pretty famous called Waffle House. And I'm a Waffle House guy. I love me some Waffle House. Now it's not my normal spot, but I do like that place. Brings back memories from my days living in the trailer parks. And some of you guys are like, whatever, Chris. Like, nah, that's what it. Anyways, so I go and I get gluten. I've got a gluten allergy. I don't want to make a big deal of this right now, but I got gluten. I didn't know it. The next morning I wake up, my first day here, and I'm in the hotel just throwing up over and over again. When I went to Waffle House, there was no risk of the fine dining restaurant back in Indy losing my customer, losing me as a customer. There was no risk, but I needed a quick fix. I needed to eat, and I was limited. If I think about doctors at nighttime, it's limited. Small cities, nothing's open at night.
Well,
But all of a sudden in the plumbing world, every plumbing company has to be open at night.
So I think where we got held up with no on-call, it was like shut everything off and ignore it. We're not ignoring the customers.
Correct.
And that's what people are like, no on-call. It's not like we're still communicating with them.
Bingo.
We're just not interrupting our technician's life in order to go solve that problem at that point in time.
That's 100% true. And I see Cost on here, who is your current service manager. Oh, look, we got a guest. This is the Wico family, bro. They just bring everyone on. We got a couple more people coming here in a minute. But this idea of on-call and stuff. So I'm looking on here. Cost is on here. Me and Cost worked together back in the day at Attaboy Plumbing, Indianapolis. There's the company that I helped fix. What's up? What do we need? What's going
Something
on?
about a mouse and they can't see it or something upstairs.
Oh, snap. We guess
Go
you
to
just
my
hang out down
computer
here.
on the other side.
Join us on the show. People want to know. Hey, this is real life, family business. This is how
This
it
is a
works.
family business. Yes.
This is what happens.
So, they got a mouse. I'm over here dropping knowledge, and I'm reading the comments now. All right, I'm reading the what do you call it, the closed captions, and I realized what she was saying. But Cost and I, we worked together for years, and we basically, we changed this whole thing of on call and getting rid of that. But it was a company that did on call, and we saw what.
I'm sorry.
No, we're good. We're good. I have 8 kids. Everyone.
Chris was like, "Hey, you want to do the show?"
I
And
have
was
8
like,
kids. I'm good with this.
So we got a couple kids. They're going to be on the show. We might have a dog. The phone might ring. We're not going to send a text, but we
Hey,
will answer it.
How many of you are identifying with what's happening right now? How many of you are like, dude, that is my life. I love it. So anyways, Cost and I. So he's your service manager now. He used to work for me back in the day. We worked together for years, 10, 15 years in the plumbing industry. And then another, probably like over 20 years in different situations. And he is one of the guys. I mean, he totally gets, I would watch his output shift from when he got working real late versus when he could get off at a normal time. That guy could do more in 8 hours than most people could do in 12 with his ability to communicate.
Yeah.
But if you work him 12, he's only as good as the guys working 6 because you wear him out. You don't get the best version. TJ Jones is on here. TJ Jones is a plumber at Peach Plumbing. Peach Plumbing in Atlanta. You guys know I own a portion of Peach Plumbing. I'm a part owner there. And this guy, TJ, I can see it. So he's a killer, by the way. 12, 13, 14, $16,000 weeks. I think TJ, I don't know what your average is these days, but it usually when I'm down there and I see the board, you're at $1,600 a call or $1,200 a call or something awesome. He's a killer. But I notice a difference in him if you try to get him to be away from his family at night. He don't like it. And he's not bashful about it. He's like, hey, I don't want to be doing this. So I ran a call with him. I don't know, TJ, if it was a month ago or so, we ran a call together. And the lady ended up going with a little bit more than she originally called us out for. It's 4 p.m. And he's looking at me like, as I'm like writing the options up, he's like, I can see it. So when we doing all this? It's like, dude, tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're doing this tomorrow.
What, and that's where, like I was saying, you just got to communicate. And if you walk the client back through, look, we get you want these. We're so excited to help you. We can't wait to make your lives better by the options that you're, deciding to go with. But doing them tonight is going to make your life tonight miserable.
Yeah.
You're not going to have hot water.
Everyone's-
You might not have water.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, everyone's. Like,
So
you're
yeah,
not gonna
the
do kid
communication.
baths,
The
Yeah.
employee, the text, like, I hate you for making me be here. The customer's like, I hate that you're here. And it's like everyone just hates each other. At 9 a.m., I love you. I love you. I love you. No, I love
Right,
you.
like,
Yeah.
let's get our first cup of coffee in us. They're going to come in and get the supplies they need. They're going to be nice and fresh, and it's going to go a lot better. It's going to take twice as long if you're trying to do it when your mind's not sharp. Also, I mean, like the things that would happen at night would not happen in the morning.
No. And look, again, we're not saying just leave your customer hanging. We're just simply saying that there's more than one way to skin the cat. I found a way to do both. Give the customer the greatest experience. And when I say customer, I mean both the paying customer and the employee. I believe the employee is the first customer. So it's important that we do that. TJ, what's up? Good to see you. Peach Plumbing and Drain hopping on. Home Heroes. Home Heroes is Ashley and Vince Heilman. You know them. I'm big fans of them. They're also in the program. I had them on the show a couple months ago. They have an amazing success story. I was talking to Ash and Vince the other day. We're working on another project together, and they're really putting in the work. They're just an amazing couple. But there's nothing they can't fix when it comes to service plumbing company. Now they got it. They're rocking. Well, I was talking to Ashley, and she's like, when we turned Home Heroes around, we had $5,000 in our bank account. That was it. That's all they had. And then I charged them $5,000 to help. No, I'm joking. I did, but they had $5,000 in their bank account. And I remember, and I'm gonna. TJ says 13K already sold for next week. Dude, stop it. Why aren't you doing it tonight, bro? Well, I'll call you after the show. So no, not at all. He's a new father, by the way. He's got a little baby. TJ, is this your second child though? I don't think but he's got a new baby at the house, so he's probably sleeping. He's got a fresh.
He's a new father to that one.
He's a new father to that one, yeah.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong. It might be his only child. I don't know why I'm struggling with this right now, but yeah, he's really loves his family.
It's the gluten.
And it's the gluten Waffle House. But Vince and Ash, she said that, and I remember Vince was doing a workshop, some training I was doing, and he was there with one of his employees, and this was before like they had all their success. They're like just starting to get going, right? And they get a little bit ahead, and then I don't remember. I think it was an engine in their van blew up. And it was Vince was like mentally like, that's the end. And to see them now paying cash for vans, doing all kinds of community stuff, it's so rewarding. And when you do the hard work, when you have those difficult conversations with people, as an owner to an employee, as a coach to an owner, it is worth it. I think most people are unwilling to do the work. They're unwilling to have the conversation. They're unwilling to step back and learn what their actual responsibilities are as owners, and then do the hard work. Yeah, I think we all want to have our hands in the.
Got to be.
I mean, listen, if you're an owner right now, and you have a CSR, and you have a team, and you were involved in a call today, yeah, you're doing it wrong, straight up. Like don't. You can be successful while you do it wrong, though, right? Like you can have some success because
sometimes you got to do it. You got to what they say on like Dory, you just got to keep swimming because you can't just like, oh, we're just not going to do it all.
Yeah, is it Spider-Man?
Finding Nemo.
Oh,
Dory's
Finding
a
Nemo.
character.
I'm sorry.
I like that it was Dora was a better memory for me. All right, so look, you guys, 50K. Crushed $172,000 a week a couple weeks ago. You're averaging 120. We're 6 months into this thing. I've cut your hours. We've cut your prices. We've cut out on call for the most part. There's still some straggling going on like a Saturday mid-morning.
Yes,
But for the most part, it's cut.
That's
And-
just mostly like the
It's-
guys started a job.
They started a job they probably shouldn't have, but they're doing whatever. So I'm like, man, what's going on with this one or whatever? Oh, the customer couldn't do it, and they make up something. Oh, the customer's a single grandmother who just flew in from South Africa to come in to meet us, and this is the only time. And I'm like, come on, dude, seriously? So they sneak some of the stuff in, and I think they do it out of habit more because
But it's
we
not
don't
mandated
penalize
from
them for
us.
doing it, but
No,
yeah, it's not mandated.
It's not. We told them they have to go do XYZ item because whatever, and then there are guys, like we've got a couple of people that do have, either, kiddos on the way or fresh kiddos. And they're like, hey, I just need a little extra money because I got a big family. And we're like, but just keep in mind, we're still going to provide, we're only going to do the calls that we can provide the same level. It's
The whole
not
process. We got to be able to do the
Yeah.
whole
You
process.
You got to be.
start
I
to
was just
finish.
saying that earlier. Like,
The
if
whole
you own
thing.
a fine dining restaurant and you're open from 5 to 11 every night, and somebody's like, "Well, I only eat lunch," you ain't eating there. Like, that's how that's gonna
Right.
go.
You
They don't have to
also-
open for lunch so you can eat when you want to eat. Like, there's no requirement on that.
and
We
it's-
have a couple of guys that like to throw the grenades.
Mhm.
They're whenever we do something like that, they have a, well, what about this scenario? And I'm like, we got a 80-20 rule. So last time we talked about the fine dining, I think it was Zach. He was telling us how he sits at the bar at the fine dining restaurant. And I was like, yeah, Halls is a fine dining
They-
restaurant. It does have bar seating.
Yeah.
I was
But
like,
you're
but
not
that's
getting,
just not what we're doing. You're
you're
not getting the same
getting-
show. You're not getting the same service.
You're
it's
not
a,
getting
it's
the
a
same
different
experience.
presentation, and it's all about the presentation and how they're handling, your table side, experience. But I think it's really important to just you can't provide that same level of service, and
You can't.
knowing that, and it's that situational awareness of like
And it's not even the supply shops aren't open.
they're not
So you're
they're
already
not
limited.
open. And then, a lot of times people say, oh, I mean, like, I said, we can't get that. And they'll say, well, I thought, Lowe's and Home Depot's open till 9. I'm like, okay, let me clarify. I can absolutely get you,
Big box brand.
whatever. But
That's not fine
That's
dining.
not what we, that's
Yeah.
not what we, that's not the
It's not our
option
standard.
of what we provided to you.
Like, yeah, so it's like the fine dining restaurant. Like, I can go to Wendy's and get you some food.
Yeah, I
but-
can go get you, a Food Line steak, and it's not what we secured with you. That's not what we offered you.
So tonight's episode is don't do on call. No, I'm kidding. All right. So it's the mindset of a champion, but it is like doing things different and providing this environment. People always say, Chris, I can't find any good guys to work for me. So are you saying there's no good plumbers in your town? I don't think that's true. Not you guys, I'm saying in general.
Yeah, no.
But what it is I found it's like, well, who wants to pass? Who wants to drive by 6 plumbing shops to get to a 7 plumbing shop that's just like the other 6? Like, if you want people to come work for you, be worth working for.
Exactly. And I think one of our girls said something today that I was not aware of. And it warmed my heart tremendously, because we used to be the company that it was like, you work for who? Why do you, like, oh my gosh, they work on call and blah, 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 and you work late and, all these things. And it was, we had to really change up, you have to introspect also.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, we've talked about this in the past a lot. For everybody, it's not about the money. Sometimes they want the time with you. Sometimes they want the time with their family. Sometimes they want to work for a plumbing company that does more because they have more, or whatever the case is. They do different types of calls. Sometimes they're not looking for just the faucet calls or whatever the case is. Not that there's anything wrong with that by any means, but sometimes they're looking for that higher. Okay, do you do more commercial, residential? We've had people, I'm like, we do it all. I don't know what you mean. And I think you also have to, introspectively look at yourself and, would I work for me?
Mm.
Would I work for me?
Have you
That's-
have you ever asked yourself that question? I got to
Because
now go back and ask myself that
If
question.
you wouldn't, then the question is, well, why wouldn't you, or why would you, or whatever the case is? And is being a good employer, like, do you attract good talent?
Hmm.
Why aren't they here? Are they not here because everybody else has some hiring bonus and they're just waiting out their 90 days? I mean, that's probably not, that's probably not going on, like that's a very like quick turnover situation. Are they offering some sort of like education program that you're not doing or whatever? Those things take a lot of extra internal admin to be able to do it well. You know, like what is it? And we've changed ourselves both personally and also professionally. And I think that leads to kind of, you know, going back into the culture of WECO. We've started calling it like the WECO way, and it's like really important to us. And, you know, we've improved who we are. We've, you know, really leveled up, I feel like, not only, you know, personally as well as with the program. And, you know, it's our stand, like we're not budging. If you don't want to do it this way, then there are a lot of other plumbing companies. Like we're going to do it to the quality standard that we're going to do it at. And that's how we're doing it.
So one thing I'm hearing is that you're resolved in who you are. You're learning, you're coachable, you're definitely molding, but you're resolved in who you are. You know what you want, you know what you want for your team, your vision, and you're casting that, and people are having to make the decision on whether or not they want to buy into that. I love that. I absolutely love that a lot. And I think it kind of leads into our last point, actually, our third mindset shift, which is believe in yourself. And you can't make this stuff up. I don't even think you knew what the 3 points were. That's how we do it. We don't prep. We just get on.
We didn't prep. Listen, I was so stressed.
I don't get stressed about that.
I say just turn the mic on. Give me the mic. Or,
But
yeah,
I
turn
think
on
you
the
know
camera.
that about me, that I'm like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, I knew she was good. I saw the stress on his face, and I was like, yeah, let's see how this plays out. Let's just.
I think he waited the last minute. He was like, so the show's tonight. I was just like, wait, what? Hold on, I got to dust.
Carmen says, so what about if there are only a call each in the AM, then phone doesn't ring till 4? Do you just send text home? Where are you guys based out of? So they're in South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina, technically West Columbia, South Carolina, but you're in Columbia, South Carolina. You know, look, there's let me say this to everybody watching. There's the perfect world that we're painting. That's the coaching program, the blueprint, what we say everyone should do. There's the reality that you're in, and then there's this transition bridge. Most of life is on the transition bridge, just for what that's worth in everything. So to you, Carmen, I would say, well, let's fix the marketing, then we can fix the on-call. So maybe it doesn't go cut on-call, then market. Maybe it goes market, then cut on-call. But what you're describing is a marketing problem, not a scheduling problem.
We did that too.
Brian Cici, I think I said that right. Cici, correct me if I'm wrong, but you did correct me last time. And I think I got that right. Ryder P. Malonis, what's up? David Simmerman, good to see you on the show. Look, if you're just joining or you've been watching for a while, this is John and Lacey Peavy. Lacey is a master licensed plumber. She is the most licensed plumber at this table. John is her husband. No, I'm joking. Well, he is, but John is a licensed plumber, and they own WECO Plumbing or WECO Rooter, and they have gone from $50K a week to $120K a week on average in just the last 6 months, 7 months, somewhere right in there. Crushing it. Biggest week, couple weeks ago, 172K. If you were to run that out, you'd be looking at about a $10 million pace, maybe $8 million pace for the year. That's amazing. Congratulations. And you did it with 8 to 10 trucks. You're doing it with no to limited on-call, no late evenings, no after hours. In fact, we're going to cut the hours just a little bit more.
You gotta cut a little bit about a little bit, but I mean, yeah, like you said, it's a marketing thing. And one of the things that I like to tell, you know, there's some companies out there which I admire greatly who are not on the big, I call it the Google machine because it is a machine, whatever. But and I like to discuss it with our admin staff that, you know, you have to be very mindful of how the word choices and your voice inflection when you are on the phone. And that's, I mean, it's huge.
Oh yeah, we talked about that in our last meeting.
I like to think of it.
Deliver cancer.
Yeah. So in my mind, you know, if you visually can just picture, you know, that you're in like a recording booth with like the old timey microphone and it has that thing in front of it, the little screen.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Google
Pop filter.
Yeah. Then Google is the screen and you're talking to the customer, you know, is the microphone, and, you know, anything that you say to them, Google's getting first. And so, you know, never, ever, ever using negative words, always using positive, even if you know it's not what the customer's wanting to hear.
I don't think people understand that. And I don't even know if they know what you're talking about right now, but you're talking about GLSA leads when they're recording them.
Yeah.
I want you guys all to think about this for a second. Google is referring people to you. They're referring their friends, we'll say. And if I refer a bunch of people to you and I don't get any feedback, or I listen on a call and I don't like how you're talking to them, I'm going to stop referring people to you. That's all they're doing. And their whole game is they want people to go to them for all of their needs. So they have to provide a solution. If they don't provide the right search result, then it hurts them, whether it's research or hiring a plumbing company. So true. But here's another thing I want you to think about with marketing. Google is now Steve. Steve lives on the corner and everyone goes to Steve for recommendations. And Steve's been telling people about me, but then he stopped telling people about me. And now he's telling people about other people that can do the same work that I do. I don't really like Steve no more. So I try to give Steve more money, but Steve's not taking it. He's like, nah, I'm over you. I got 50 more people just like you. And so the game is this. It's not to get Steve to give you more leads. It's to get people to come to you instead of Steve. Everybody thinks Google is a lead generation. It's not. It's a middleman.
Mhm.
They just figured out how to do what you were supposed to do, and they took your lead and sold it back to you.
Mhm.
And if, Google, if you're listening, I don't represent Wico Rooter. I'm Chris Fresh, the
No,
plumbing
we
sales
love you.
coach. They love you. I
No,
know.
but I mean, if you really think about it, it's getting trickier and trickier, and you might not go to www. To search something to then get funneled back, but it comes in so many different ways, and
So
that's
many
what
ways.
like just a few weeks ago, it kind of like trickled down a little bit. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to the calls. I'm telling you right now, I bet you $1. It's got to be like the word choices or not the word choices. We're using the tone and the voice. We literally have like these little tiny mirror sticky things on all the desktops that like they can hear you smile, which I totally agree with.
Oh my gosh, I totally agree with that. When I was younger, I didn't work for AT&T. I worked for Matrix.
Mhm.
Matrix was a
Nice,
telemarketing. I was in the Matrix. I wasn't. There was a telemarketing company. So basically, this sounds way cooler than it was. What was actually happening was I sat in a chair with a headphone on, and it would go beep, and there'd be a human on the phone, and I had to sell them from Sprint, MCI, back to AT&T. So for those are like, what's an MCI? So that's called long distance. I'm dating myself a little bit. And in fact, I'll date it even more. Our big thing was 25 cents a minute. That was
Oh,
such a deal. It was
wow.
a steal because they had the Sprint Friends and Family for 10
Mhm.
cents a minute.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, we were
friends and family.
no
yeah.
MCI Friends and Family, I think. And Sprint had the whatever. Just I don't remember anymore. But that was the year. It's like 1990 something. 1994.
Like back when they had team lines.
1994.
Mhm.
Who was alive in 1994? Back in 1994. And I remember they made us wear, I worked there with 3 of my thug friends. Like it was just the 3 of us at nighttime. We were just running the streets doing crazy stuff. But during the day, we wore a shirt and tie.
Mhm.
Because and I said, this is stupid. Like I got the cheapest headset on. The computer, I had to memorize the script because it couldn't keep up with how fast I talk. So I would have to be like, I just hit the button like 8 times and just skip to the screens. And I would just have the whole thing memorized and would just go. And because I knew that I was going to have to enter some things, and I was like, man, catch up. So I'm working on, but they make me wear a shirt and tie because they said they can hear how professional you are through the phone.
Mhm.
It ended up being true. It ended up being true.
So I totally agree with that. So I mean, that's it's on all the screens.
TJ said I was 5. Bro, we already needed to talk. Now we really have to talk. Absolutely love listening to Lacey and John. I don't know if you're saying that you'd rather they talk more than me. I don't know what that was. Marketing has been one of the hardest things for me for sure. I believe they said 10 trucks. They did. How many trucks, TJ said there? 10. Where were you guys when I met you? Still right around that same number.
Yeah, so we serviced trucks and we had 1 install crew.
Mhm.
So we added a couple trucks, but those people, they left just before you showed up,
I think
actually.
we kind of just like move people around and then replace people. You got to change the people or change the people. That's huge because that's the biggest thing I think also with doing something like this is, when people can't open their minds to see what you see, they're just going to internally become like a cancer. So then they're like undermining you. And you're like, I'm just trying to make it better for everybody, the customer and the employees. Why are y'all fighting me on this? And they're just constantly like, I just don't understand why we're doing this. This is just dumb. And I'm like, no, it's not dumb. Like, if you really like sit back and look at it, like you're going to have Saturday off one day.
Yeah, one day.
One day.
It's different. 100% it's different. I mean, it's got to be. If you're going to transition a plumbing company from fast food to fine dining, there is no way that it's not going to be difficult. It's not going to be hard. It's going to be worth it though.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
It is
Yes,
worth it.
it's worth it.
I love what you guys are about. The idea of you kind of led us into that third mindset shift. But
Sorry.
believing in no, it's perfect. Believing in yourself. Like, how many of you have self-doubt issues? Like, if you're being honest. And yeah, I put my hand up. I think a lot of people don't understand I am still confused. Tyler this is my son. He's on here. He can tell. I sometimes have to ask like, why are people watching me? Why do people listen? Why is this even happening? I genuinely don't get it sometimes. And I'm just, because to me, it seems like a lot of stuff would be comments that, like, of course you wouldn't work nights and weekends. And then I get roasted in the comments, like not on the show, but in the, other than a minute ago when he said he likes listening to you guys. But no, but I get roasted on
It's
the,
probably somebody who loves us. It's probably somebody local.
I had this one guy, he's on the internet, and he basically was like, you know, that he made like 2 or 3 videos about me or this idea of on call. He just couldn't let it go.
I saw that.
A month later, I get a video sent to me by someone. This guy's still doing
Yeah.
videos for like
But
2
he did it
months.
in his garage with his boat. I'm like, if you work on call, how do you have time for a boat?
Right, and he's just roasting me, like, just, you know, I don't know what I've never been in a company, I don't know anything, and I'm just like, dude, if you would just seek to understand or be more open-minded, like, we're probably not that
Well,
different.
Yeah, I mean, again, you talked about it already. Like, you got to educate. You got to receive it.
Yeah, not everyone's willing to receive it.
And I mean, I think some people also have to open their minds to, you know, when you talk about the price changes. Okay, the price changed because
That was hard.
the price changed because it's standardized, which made it easier. The shift to it
Said that was
and then the belief that it was all gonna work out.
And give stuff away.
and give stuff away.
But
No on call, we give stuff away, lower
we're
your prices.
not working.
Come join the program today, folks.
But it's also the idea of if your guys, if you can give, you know, if they either have it or you can impart knowledge, the product knowledge is huge. The product knowledge, the product will sell itself. Well, it has to be installed. So if the customer can understand what you're trying to, you know, tell them that is going to be better or explain to them, and they can get that, then, you know, it still has to be installed. You're a service,
Still,
you're
yeah.
a service, like plumbing company. Like, you're selling your service, but you're not. Some people like try to sell the service first. I'm like, no, let's talk about the product. Why is this better? And JP says that we just renovated a house. I mean, like a whole renovation. He said it to one of the guys in one of our meetings the best. He was like, do you think I picked out a single fixture in this house? No.
No.
But most of them, it's not like some fancy valve that turns on with my phone, but like, you know, a lot of the faucets have, like, you know, you brush your teeth, you get stuff everywhere. Hurts my nerves. It has like the pull down, you know, you can rinse it, but it's just like this.
It's not fancy. It's a pull down lab faucet.
But it's the small,
Keep
the
telling
knowledge
everyone
of
how
it.
non-fancy you are.
Yeah.
Pull down. I didn't even know they made those.
No, yeah. Widespread,
Oh, and all, yeah.
Delta Premier,
Yeah,
custom.
one handle,
custom
two
colors.
handles.
Yeah.
Dustin Howell, I got a merch pack for you. He says, every day you've got to be trying to get 1% better in your life and in your work. I got a merch pack for you, brother. That's a great comment. We'll get you a hat and a shirt. Comment or send us a private message with your shirt size. And if you want a trucker cap or a flat bill cap, and if you want photos of those, my team will hook you up in the chat. So they'll talk to you about it. But we got that for you, bro. That's a great comment. I totally agree. Challenge yourself to be better, Carmen says. 100%. Look, self-doubt is the fastest way to fail on a false reality. Meaning we start to doubt ourselves. So then a lot of people will become paralyzed. They won't make decisions. Fear creeps in. They don't do anything. No decision's worse than a bad decision. And then they just watch their dream fade. They watch their opportunity fade. They watch it just go. And they watch it. And it's so sad because it's like, it's a false reality. Like the self-doubt, if you were to somehow magically be able to remove the self-doubt, you would take action, and then you would find, in fact, there's this kid on the internet. Oh, I shouldn't say kid. He's a killer, but I think it's Russ Flips Whips. If you haven't seen this guy, Russ Flips Whips. He doesn't know me. I don't know him, but Russ Flips Whips. But he does what I do, but in the car industry. He goes around, trains companies. And just to be clear, we're not just a sales coaching program. We train the whole thing. Owners, how the owner should run the whole company, timeout policies, everything. This guy does sales and actually what he does is he gets people to go to use TikTok and Reels and whatnot. So I started doing this 8 years ago on the internet, 9 years ago. And I remember Cost was there. Cost was holding the phone, and I was going to go live, and it was going to be the greatest live in the history of internet. Like I was like, dude, this 15 minutes they might win an award.
Might
Maybe.
break the internet.
Yeah, and it was gonna be 15 minutes exactly. I was so ready. I might break. Yeah, I was like, dude, what if they can't? What if Mark can't handle? What if Mark Zuckerberg can't handle all the viewers on her?
He's gonna call you and tell you.
He's
"Hey,
gonna
man,
be like,
get
hey,
up."
bro, chill out. Yeah, yeah, right. Like, dude, put your shirt on. My wife's on the internet.
Self
Like, he's
doubt is the opposite
Yeah.
direction.
so he goes, so he goes,
So
sorry, he
Rogan.
goes, like he was there. He wasn't even there. So, anyways, me and Chris. So I said, Chris, hold the phone. Cost name's Chris. My name's Chris, and I got 15 minutes of just glory coming. And he goes live. The video ends up being 3 minutes.
What were you wearing?
I think it was like a plaid shirt or something.
No, it was like Run DMC shorts.
It was. I don't even think you guys saw it, bro. Like
You
this is.
played it at our thing.
Oh gosh, yeah, I probably did. It's 3 minutes long, not
That's the
15
one with
minutes
no
long.
audio.
And oh no, that's not the one with no audio. You guys are talking. They did a clip of my team roasted me at an event one time. Played a bunch of my.
I'm surprised they're all still employed.
Yeah, no, those guys aren't. So no I'm kidding. So anyways, we did the thing, and the show ends, and I go back and watch it. And literally for 2 minutes, I'm like, I'm live, Chris. We're live. I'm with Chris. My name's Chris. I'm with Chris. I must have said the word Chris and live 42 times each in a 2 minute span, and then I taught for 30 seconds. I was just like, so what we're gonna learn today is that you have to you have to be about service. And all right, guys, so get at it. Terrible. And then you guys saw some of the early shows, no audio for 5 minutes. People are like, we can't hear you. And I'm like, why is there nobody watching? And then the only people that were watching were my family and kids anyways. So here's the point. Nobody has it figured out. Mike Tyson says everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. No one has it figured out. If anyone's ever told you their plan worked, they lied. Everyone has to adjust. That's where self-doubt creeps in. We get an idea, we get a vision, we get excited, we get even believing in ourselves, and then we hit that first obstacle or that second obstacle, and we realize it's hard. And I go, oh man, dude, I'm out.
Hard
I don't
doesn't
want to.
describe it, but yes.
Seems like I'm looking at K2. I got to climb Mount Himalaya. But a lot of our, that's a great analogy, actually. A lot of our fears and doubts, they look like mountains. I always said it's funny, the East Coast people are the lazy people. They didn't even try, dude. They landed and stayed right there. They didn't even try. But the Midwestern people, like y'all gave it an effort. You crossed the Appalachian Mountains. Then you're like, no, we're good after that. Then there was some of you made it all the way to Colorado, and you're like, this ain't so bad. Dude, we crossed the Appalachian Mountains. This has been flat this is a slight uptick, a slight incline, but we got this. Then they got to the Rockies. They're like, nah, I ain't doing that again. Those look worse than the last ones. Then there's the people who made it to California. And then they raised everyone's taxes. No, I'm kidding. But there's the people, and I'm always like, yeah, the West Coast. I'm from the West Coast. I'm like, yeah, those are the go-getters. But I genuinely believe that these mountains, they come up and they steal our joy. They steal our hope. They steal the potential and the possibility.
Oh, yeah.
And we allow it. We're our own thief.
We were at, what did we watch? We watched this sermon not long ago. And it was about this right here. This is really coming home right now. It was about weather and storms.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really like, it is hard. But if you continue to go through it, you'll weather. It's just bad weather right now. Like, but you
Right.
got to keep going.
Dude, I was flying to Ecuador, Quito, Ecuador. And we're at one point, we're like, it's the Amazon. And we're flying over South America. And I'm looking down. It's just one of those crazy storms below us. You can see it. But where I could see the moon, the stars. It was beautiful where I was at 38,000 feet. But right below me, in the exact same spot on Earth, there was someone in that storm.
Yep.
And I started thinking like, that could, there's a lot of poverty down there. And I started like thinking like some of the families are just in this storm, like fearing for their life. And I'm in Indianapolis. I fear for my life every time storms come through there. Larry's in Texas. I will never go to Oklahoma. So that's off the table, VIP, in case he comes back to watch the show later. But 'cause I'm terrified of tornadoes. Could you
Oh,
imagine?
gosh. That's like, what, 3 weeks ago or something?
Here?
Yeah.
I'm afraid of lightning.
Okay. This took a weird turn, folks. I gotta go. There's tornadoes here. No, look, I want to just recap really quick. So the first point, Tyler, flash them back up on the screen really quick. So you said always be learning. This is the first mindset shift. Always be learning. Always be humble. Always be willing to grow. Always be looking for what you don't know. Don't go to a seminar because I'm guilty of this. So if you're like, dang, he just did it. He just said exactly what I do because I do it too. I go to the summit and the whole time I'm like, I would have said it better. I would have done it this way. I would have, man, knock that off. It's not what's taught, it's what's caught. You can come on this show. You can be further along than them. You can be further along than me in life, but you can still catch something and learn it. So it's not what's taught, it's what's caught. Number 2 was, do the hard things. You talked about that. You talked about that. And we even talked about that here a little bit more of what those hard things start looking like. Unpassable mountains, like just these overwhelming obstacles. You know, I'll tell you something right now. Anytime you've ever been in life where you're just like, I gotta do this, you're just trapped in this cycle of like activity, trying to save the money, save the family, save the business. It's interesting to me. People can't go to their kids' events. They can't spend time with their family because they got to do this. There's always a reason, right? But then when you get sick, everything shuts down. And guess what? When you're healthy again, everything's still right there. It doesn't go away. And so it's not like, I think it's a false reality that we just, because I'll keep, me personally, I'll always find someone to call, someone to take a call from, someone to whatever. Like I'm on the phone a lot. You know, you can do that and you get lost in that. But sometimes doing the hard things in life is stopping. Is actually stopping. It's not always climbing the mountain. Sometimes it's take a moment, pitch a tent, think this through.
Go around it.
Yeah, go around it. Yes, right. So Jeff Lane, my boy from King Rooter, Nico Rooter, King Rooter. This guy's a lining machine, dude. He lines like probably 2 lines a day, residential. It kills it. Oh yeah, and then him and Tim King, Anytime Plumbing, they've done a few like $1 million projects on lining together. They collaborate. So he's a beast. But he says, I definitely have a hard time shifting my brain because sometimes I'm stuck in my ways, but you always got to be willing to change and learn 100%. Larry says, I just thought I knew my plumbing business was different. I'm in Texas. It's different here. LOL. Yeah, everything's bigger. So the discounts are bigger. The bundles are bigger. Ruminating sucks. TJ, gonna need you to use smaller words for me. I don't know what ruminating means, but I can assume we got them here too. I know you got them there, Larry. That's why I don't come. Larry, a shop visit for you would be $50,000, and if you say yes to this, I'm busy, booked, can't do it. It rains and gets cloudy, but the sun always comes out and shines. 100%, man, and that's life. That's life, right?
That was what I was trying to get back to. Is like that's life. You just gotta accept it.
And you're always gonna be. I mean, you're gonna like being a business owner. Everybody, I think, is hysterical. Not just hilarious, hysterical. When everybody's just like, "Oh, you're a business owner.
Yeah, good.
Nice.
Look at you.
Nice.
Must be nice.
Yeah, it must be nice to get up at 4:30 and go to bed at midnight. We're still not getting everything done." You know, I don't have that 9 to 5.
Yeah, where are our kids at?
Yeah.
Where are our kids at? Kids are, you guys done?
Yeah, maybe it's about like 5 to 9. But yeah, I mean, like people just like assume that because you're an owner, like I'm like, you will always work harder for yourself than you're gonna work for anybody else at any other job that you ever have in your entire life. And everybody's always like, I want to be a business owner, and I'm like, you have a great schedule and you make a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm learning right now. Like we're having this interview with Chris, and I mean, I'm sitting here reflecting on it's been a long 6 months.
Wait, he didn't mean that. He didn't mean that. He says it's been a great 6 months.
So rewarding, and like, would you do it over again? Would you repeat everything? 100%.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah, because I mean, and you also have to think like you touched on it briefly. We used to be a really big company when we were affiliated with a national brand, and then at the end of our contract, instead of re-signing, I was like, well, we're doing this for our kids, but we can't legacy this. Like, what? And I was like, we need to do something. We got to make some decisions before we're too old to make decisions and make a change. Because like, that's hard. That was, overcoming that hurdle, and that was, just shortly before we.
And how long ago was that?
Almost 3 years.
3 years ago. So you were with a national brand.
October, yeah.
Then you restarted from scratch, started the Wico Rooter brand.
Yeah, literally like overnight. And I oh my gosh, somebody hired a new accountant was asking me questions about, like things last night, and we were going through it just randomly, weirdly. And I was like, yeah, I was working in the office is kind of like our office manager, CSR, just
to everything.
all the things, like with like 1 or 2 other people And I said, and JP was in the office like half the time, and then half the time he had to be in the field running calls with the guys. And I said, and then at night, then I've got to go through and like work on our Google and work on our marketing, and try to like
All the things.
how are we getting our calls, and are we doing good with our calls, and it's like we got this customer complaint, and like how do we get that? And I'm like, there's only like 3 of us.
Okay, here's how we're going to end the show tonight. I'm going to tell you guys the secret to being successful. I'm just going to give you the answer. This is what I've learned over my life, but really these last 8 years working with owners, coaching owners. I just get so much exposure to success, like what it looks like, what's the recipe, if you will. And I'll tell you right now, I got some good news and bad news. If you're not successful, you're the reason. You're the problem. That's the good news. It's bad news, but it's good news. And here's why it's good news, because you can fix you. You can't fix other people. And so here's my first kind of point to this whole how to become successful. You're the problem, and that's okay because you can fix you. And you've got to fix yourself. And you've got to self-assess yourself. You need to be humble enough to be able to go, man, I've got to get better. I've got to learn. I've got to grow. I've got to have a winner mentality. I've got to be willing to do the hard things. Sometimes the hard things is just admitting that you're not where you need to be. But the other piece of this coin is that you can fix yourself. And so when you self-assess and self-reflect and figure out what's missing, you can go get that. You can go equip yourself. And that's the whole thing. Every single plumbing company I've ever helped become successful, any company I've ever made successful, or even my own companies that I've started and become successful, it's always about if I can fix myself first. Second piece of that coin is I need to go find people, the right people that will run the race with me. Then if I don't fix myself, then I'm going to attract what I am. And so I'm going to attract the wrong people. But if I fix myself, and sometimes I attract the wrong people, hire them, fix myself, replace them till I get to a point where I'm attracting the right people. When you attract the right people, then you got to equip them. It's really not rocket science. You're the problem. Fix yourself, make yourself attractable in this, not cosmetically, but in the way you think, in the way that you behave, in the way of your generosity. And then when you do that, you attract the right people. When you attract the right people, now you better know what your why is and what your vision is. You cast that vision, you show them your why, you allow them to join you in your why, then you learn their why so you can understand what motivates them. And then you do that. You motivate. You don't manage, you motivate. You need to manage people because you have the wrong people, because you need to fix yourself. But once you fix yourself and you get the right people and you get champions to join you and you're not alone, my gosh, it all of a sudden magically gets easier because people know what they want. People know what you want. You know what they want. Everyone knows what each other wants. You give them what they want, they give you what you want. And it's simple. You are the owner. You bring in the opportunity. They are the employee. They work the opportunity. It's a beautiful dynamic. And if you can understand that, and look, this is one of the things we interview companies to get into our program. One of the questions we want to know is, why are you struggling? And if you start telling me it's because of your market or your customers or your employees, I already know you're too difficult to work with. You need a mindset shift, and I'm probably not your guy. But if you can come to me and say, I'm the problem, I can work with you. I can totally change your life. But I can only do it because you're willing to change. I can't change you if you're not willing to change. I think this is the hardest thing I've had to accept as a coach in working with owners and working with people. As owners, it's the hardest thing we see with you. You were just saying it. You can want it for them more than they want it for themselves. And there's nothing you can do about that.
Gosh, sometimes you could just like, you want the world for a technician or an admin person or whatever personnel. And I'm like, okay, well, I can only, I can bring you to the water, but if I put your head in it, that's waterboarding, and that's not.
Amen. VIP got on here. He must have heard me talking about tornadoes earlier. Even Tim can fix himself. Love it. I know. He says yes, 100%. Until they can't, anytime plumbing, the funny thing is everybody thinks they can run a business.
Oh,
it's tough, man. It's not for the faint of heart. And, look, I can tell you guys right now that it's just a different makeup. So it's not about, it's just what we're designed to do. And I'm not designed to be a very good employee. I've proven that over the years. I got fired at Angie's List, and I was number 3 on the ranking board for overall sales for the nation. And they got fired. It's a long story. We don't want to hear it. But anyways, service before sales, Chris says, Cornwell Plumbing. Yeah, I mean, look, I hope you guys got that. One more time. You're the problem. That's the good news. You can fix yourself. fix yourself, make yourself more desirable. Other people will want to work with you and do whatever it is that you're doing in life. One more thing, people don't want to work and make you money. They want to join you and build something. It's a little secret right there. The
Yeah.
vision. Cast that vision, get them on board, figure out their why as they understand your why, and then give it to them. You said it. Not everybody wants money. Some people want to spend time with their family. Some people, Irvin, who found me on the internet, worked for a local competitor in Atlanta, found me on the internet, said, I want to work for you. His why was, I want to get better. I want to get coached.
Right.
So he wanted to find a company, and then he found me on the internet. So he's like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I'm in the same city. That's what it's all about. And if when you do that, real success doesn't become how much money you make. It's not how many trucks you have. It's how many champions are running with you. Because if I start today and in 10 years from now, I got 10 champions running with me, I can beat you. I can beat you. I don't care how long you've been doing it longer than me. If I got 10 people that are intelligent and want to win and understand the mission and goal, and they're basically providing me their gifts and skills to run with me and run this race together, I can beat you. And I've proven that with the plumbing sales coach. When I was doing this by myself before I had a staff, like everything sucked. Everything sucked. Had no handbooks, had no videos. I started hiring people and they're like, hey, what if you did this? And I was like, why don't you stay in your lane? No, I'm joking. I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. And then we started to do those things. And now Patrick Leonard, Mr. Drippy Plumbing out of Alabama, he constantly will tell people, he's been in the program since almost day one. I think like month one, but not quite day one. That would go to Keith and Lindsay Hunt. But he says, I didn't have all this when I joined the program. Like you guys can go upstairs, log into your back office, print out your level handbooks for your employees that we've made and all this stuff. We didn't have all that when we first started. And if Tyler, my son, my oldest son who was in the military, if he hadn't left the military and decided he wanted to come home and work with dad, which he's watching, I can't believe he wanted to do that. And I'm grateful for it every day. But he wanted to come back. He was the one that watched every training video, typed it up into a manual and created those. You wouldn't have those if it wasn't for him. I wouldn't have those if it wasn't for him. Tim, you wouldn't have them. Jeff, you wouldn't have them. All of you out there that watch the show that are in the program, you wouldn't have them. And so that's the magic of aligning yourself with winners and champions and getting out of the freaking way. I think that's the last hardest piece. We change
Where I'm at
ourselves
right now.
It is where you're at.
Yeah.
But that's the
Call
last
me
piece.
out.
That's the last piece. I've seen this movie too many times. Ashley and Vince are watching. That's the last piece. I remember Ashley came to me. She's like, we're killing it. We're making money. We're doing our thing. I'm like, you're still at 6 trucks. She's like, well, I don't want to hire anyone. I just want, and just had to talk to him. Be like, look, same people I was talking about earlier that thought their lives were over when the truck blew up. And I remember Ashley going, you're right. I need to do this thing. The next video I see, she's driving down the street with 3 brand new trucks. She paid cash for them all. And I was like, whoa. We need to talk about cash flow. And she hired 3 people. She's like, you're right. Let's go. And now they're at 13 trucks and crushing it and doing their thing. And it's just fun to watch. And you guys you're at that point. That meeting we had today was powerful. It stirred
hard.
some things up. What's that?
That was hard.
It was hard. It was hard for me too. I mean, guys, I don't do contracts. So I'm telling people stuff that could get me fired. Real talk. All right.
Yeah.
At one point, one of them, I thought you two were going to fight. Like, no, dude, this is what it
Start a
is.
conversation.
Okay. Chuck says, I figure out which of the problem issues. It focuses on another of my problem areas. Look, self-assess, personality type, Enneagrams, working genius, type of smart you are. These are all self-reflection tests that you can take. Then there's this book called Anatomy of the Soul. This book is an amazing book. Kurt Thompson teaches you how the brain works, teaches you how to remove fears, teaches you how to rewire your brain in the way that it thinks. It's wild stuff. I don't know all this without those books, without that information, without those tests. I don't know about myself like this, and I can't teach you about yourself. And we just did that big event in Indianapolis where, there's 100-something techs and owners and people there, and we're breaking down these personality types. I can't do that if someone else didn't do that for me, if I didn't know. And you got to know, and I hope you take the time to learn. I love you guys. You guys are great. I don't have favorites. So anyone watching the show that is in the program, I don't have favorites. I love you all. I can't be getting no hate mail because of this. I do love you guys. I'm very proud of what I've seen you guys do. I'm just the book. They have to read it and apply it. I don't have a magic pill for anyone. I just have some different ways of thinking and some different processes than the industry is maybe even ready for sometimes. But I'll tell you who is ready for it, and that's the customers. They love it because it's all centered around them. Employee first, paying customers second. I love you guys. Remember, always serve in everything you do. Serve your community and everything, not just plumbing. Have a great night. If you want more tips about marketing, sales, and business, type subscribe in the comments and get alerts about future shows. Also, check out our podcast on Spotify, Apple, and other major platforms. Thanks again for watching The Fresh Approach.
Fresh.